Wickets tumble at Lords in low-scoring contest. Durham are one of a number of teams chasing third-place Northants in the hunt for the final promotion place in Division 2. Their opponents Middlesex look too far back to hold real promotion hopes, but victory for the home side could see that gap decrease substantially. They'd win a contested toss and put Durham into bat. That looked like the wrong move as the first session got up and running, Lees and Steele playing well as their partnership moved past 50. But soon the opening pair would be separated, Harris trapping Lee's LBW. That first wicket saw Middlesex wrest the initiative from Durham, Finn removing Steele, bowled for 29. Miguel Cummins joined in with his first Middlesex wicket. Robson caught behind for naught. Hart would be the next man to go, Tim Murtagh finding the edge and Simpson making no mistake with the catch as Durham slumped to 80 for 4 at the interval. Debutant Scott Steele fell after lunch. He was trapped LBW by Murtagh for 2. Durham would reach triple figures with Eckersley and Hanscom looking to rebuild. But the wickets continued to tumble. Finn picked up his second of the match. Eckersley trapped LBW for 8. Harris would also pick up a second, Rain swiping at one outside off, only to find the hands of Robson. Peter Hanscom had stood head and shoulders above all the carnage. He'd kept his wicket and played his way to a crucial 50. Bryden Cast would be the next man to fall to Finn, caught behind for 9 as Durham's tail-enders struggled. Hanscom's wicket all but signalled the end of the Durham innings, bowled by Murtagh for 54. Rimington was the last man out, Finn again finding an edge, Durham with work to do with the ball. The total of 147 had opened the door for a Middlesex victory, but Durham were keen to strike early. And they did just that. Gubbins removed in just the second over with the home side scoreless early on. Robson and Eskenazi would start again, the pair looking to play themselves in. And they were approaching 50 when Eskenazi was finally removed, bowled by Rimington. Durham were in determined mood, Robson following as he feathered Rushworth through to Eckersley to go for 20. Holden added just 5 to the total when he was Rushworth's next victim. Scott's 9 runs had come from 16 balls when he was bowled by Rain, Middlesex yet to reach triple figures. Simpson fell 3 balls later, LBW to Rain for a duck. Milan, the last remaining recognised top-order batsman, was finally removed with the score still below 100. His would be the last wicket to fall. Stumps called in the next over as diminishing light began to take its toll. It had been a remarkable day at Lords, with 17 wickets falling in just 3 sessions of play. At this rate, the game will be done and dusted on day 2. Middlesex have a rebuilding job on and will hope to reduce their deficit tomorrow morning. Durham set low total in tough batting conditions at Lords. A low-scoring affair at Lords was packed with action on day 1. Peter Hanscom had excelled with the bat where too many of his colleagues had faltered, and he'd helped Durham to 147 all out, before Middlesex got a taste of the tricky Lords wicket and found themselves 87 for 7 at stumps. They hoped to equal and perhaps even eclipse their opponent's total when striding out to resume on day 2. But Ben Rain would show that even reaching 3 figures may be a tough ask. He picked up his 4th of the innings early on, Harris bowled for 14. But Miguel Cummins and Stephen Finn helped Middlesex breach 3 figures. Another wicket still looked inevitable. Rain would be the man to take it. Finn bowled as he looked to find a leg side boundary, the Durham bowler with 5 to his name. Middlesex would fall 4 runs short of Durham's total, Rushworth taking his 60th wicket of the County Championship season as Murtagh holed out to Steele for 14. The Durham start would be slow as the side looked to negotiate the final few overs until lunch, going into the interval at 8 for 0. Cameron Steele looked to be in determined mood after the restart, Durham's total quickly racing past 50 within a few overs of the resumption. But a mix-up in the middle would see the opening partnership come to an end. Lee's the unfortunate man to go, out for 13. The run rate slowed, and Steele's intrepid innings came to an end soon after. Cummins finding an edge, the opener out for 39. A short shower saw the players come off briefly, and when they returned it would be Middlesex who took the initiative. First innings hero Hanscom would go for 3, trapped LBW by Harris before Gareth Hart followed in the next over. He too was out LBW, Finn this time with the wicket. Rain would once again interrupt proceedings, but Durham managed to dig in through to tea, going into the break at 94 for 4. Scott Steele and Angus Robson would see Durham through to 3 figures, and they began to accumulate. But Steele would depart at the hands of Tim Murtagh, chipping one to mid-on. Eckersley would be the next man out as the Durham innings began to stutter, LBW to Harris for 5. George Scott and Dawid Malan would combine to remove Rain for 11, with the score a shade over 150. Harris had Cars in the next over, trapped LBW for 0. Robson had batted well and brought up a 50, the rate slowing as he began to run out of partners. Finn would remove Rimington, LBW for 6, before Robson's wicket signalled the end of Durham's second innings. All out for 191, Middlesex requiring 196 for victory. And the home side had time to get their chase up and running in the dying Lord's light, and did so without cause for concern, reaching 21 for 0 at the close of play, Gubbins and Robson both finding early boundaries. The equation then is simple. Middlesex require 175 runs and have 2 days in which to get them, but any side with Division 2's leading wicket taker will hope they can prevent that from happening, and with a potential promotion slot as motivation, nobody should count Durham out in this one. Cast takes career best figures to see Middlesex collapse to defeat at Lords. This contest has been a low scorer. Both teams have struggled to score on a tricky surface. Durham had Angus Robson to thank for the bulk of their 196 run lead. They'd been bowled out for 191 on a stop-start day. Middlesex had got their chase off to a decent start, that deficit cut by 21 runs when Stumps was finally called in the deepening North London gloom. That meant the equation was simple. The home side required 175 runs to win, Durham 10 wickets. And it would be Durham who struck first, the early wicket crucial to their hopes of victory coming just a few overs in, Gubbins caught by Lees off the bowling of Cars. Chris Rushworth then removed Eskenazi in the very next over, trapped LBW for 0. Dawid Malan followed a few overs later, Middlesex getting off to a poor start. The number 4 trapped LBW by Rain for 2, but Sam Robson would take a page out of Brother Angus's book. He'd batted well for Durham on his way to a 50. He took the lead for the home side, Max Holden a spectator at the other end as the Middlesex opener continued to find the boundary. Holden would fall shortly before lunch. The target now down into double figures as they went into the interval at 106 for 4. Robson had carried his side after their horror start to the innings, but they'd have to try to win the match without him. Caught behind for 65 in the first over after lunch. Scott caught behind for 14 for Cars's second of the innings. He'd have his third just 2 balls later. Harris bowled for a duck by the Durham youngster. A fourth came in his next over. Cummins bowled for 1, Middlesex all at sea. And with the wicket of Simpson, he'd picked up a 5-fer and reduced the hosts from 122 for 5 to 139 for 9 in the space of just 5 overs. It was fitting then that Cars would be the man to wrap up the win for Durham. Murtagh bowled for 8, Middlesex all out for 151. Career best figures for the 24-year-old had ensured Durham had swept to a 44-run victory. The result means they leapfrogged Northants into third, the final promotion position. But the previous incumbents could return once their match with Leicestershire comes to an end. Middlesex will be disappointed. Only Sam Robson had performed with the bat, and they'd struggled to come to terms with the conditions at Lords. Their faint hopes of a return to Division 1 look over for another year.